Hey, it's Emily Williams, the founder of I Heart My Life and your host of the I Heart My Life show. This is episode 198, The Art of Self-Motivation. So today we have a special guest. We have my husband, James Williams, and he's actually going to be teaching this episode. Now, this was inspired by a conversation we had on date night in particular, and he was telling me a bit more about how he doesn't believe that self-motivation should include bullying tactics. And I thought his perspective was really interesting. And I know that it's something that he teaches all of our clients, and they really appreciate it and value his perspective on this. So I thought I'd have him come on and share his thoughts on the I Heart My Life show. So if you're somebody who wants to know more about really inspiring yourself to create change or to reach new levels of success, but you don't respond well to fear-based coaching, this is definitely for you. James is going to tell you why bullying tactics actually don't take us to the next level. In fact, they're more harmful than good. So it's a really interesting episode to listen from the perspective of you coaching yourself, but also if you're a coach, it's definitely something to consider when you're working with clients. So let's dive in. This episode was sponsored by the I Heart My Life Mastermind. The I Heart My Life Mastermind is perfect for you if you already have a business and you're looking to scale. We cover tons of different topics. We cover marketing strategy, revenue planning, team, processes, everything you need in terms of mindset, high performance, really taking care of yourself as well as your business, events, publicity. We literally have 7 coaches under one umbrella to support you and give you the answers to all of your burning questions. We host regular weekly workshops where you get your personal questions answered. We have retreats. You have a private Slack channel where you get to ask questions 24/7. You have an extensive resource bank that helps you put in place our cash method in your own business, and much, much more. This is one of the most inventive programs around. I don't know anyone else offering the service that we provide. So if you are interested in growing your business and transforming your life, definitely book a call with us to learn more. Go to iheartmylifebooking.com and learn more about the I Heart My Life Mastermind.
Hey there, everybody. James Williams here, certified high performance coach, husband, and person with a lot to say on this particular subject, which is the art of self-motivation, specifically around the way we speak to ourselves. Over the past 6 or 7 years, I have had the pleasure of working with my wife and coaching some really amazing female entrepreneurs, male business owners, all people that are interested in developing themselves, developing their lives, developing their relationships, all of them wanting to hit goals. Very ambitious people who see something within themselves, see a potential within themselves to create a life better than their dreams, to do something different, to live a legacy and leave a legacy. And there is one thing that keeps coming up. One thing that is the reason why some make it and some don't. The reason why some people find the journey excruciating and irregular and turbulent, and the reason why some seem to find momentum and get there almost effortlessly. What is this reason? It's the way that we speak to ourselves. Now, over the past few years, constantly one of the things that I'm hearing business owners, entrepreneurs, people with big dreams speaking to themselves in a way that is bullying. That instead of inspiring themselves to success, they're bullying themselves there. One of the ways I like to think about this is when I was at school, there were 2 types of teachers. There was the teacher that would describe to you your impending doom if you don't succeed. They would describe to you all the terrible things that would happen if you didn't do better, hoping that you would take that fear, run with it, and suddenly become amazing. And then there were the teachers that would express to you that they knew you could do better, that they saw so much potential in you, and that they would describe the future that was available to you that was magnificent and successful if only you would put in some more effort. Now, both of these teachers wanted the same thing, but came at it at a very different perspective. And to be honest with you, when I speak to a lot of my clients and a lot of people, including myself, the majority of the way that we were taught and mentored was the initial one, which was to be motivated by fear, to be put in a place where we'd be so scared to fail that we'd be constantly thinking about that fear. We'd be constantly thinking about our impending doom. And what happens, and what I've seen happen with many, entrepreneurs and business owners who want to succeed, who want to push further, is that they are trying to bully themselves to success. They're using self-bullying tactics to beat themselves up internally when they haven't done enough, to expect so much for themselves that they deny themselves happiness and pleasure until they achieve something great. And what happens? It doesn't work. Now, sure, fear sometimes does work as a short-time motivator, especially if our life is in threat. But the problem with fear as a motivator, as with dictatorship, is that the moment that we can escape or get away with not taking action, the moment we know that we're not going to get chastised for not taking action, we'll not move forward. The moment we can get away with it, we will escape and we'll lose momentum and we won't move forward. And one thing we know about personal growth, about building businesses, about achieving massive goals, is that we are in the process of solving problems more than we are at the finishing line reaping the rewards. So if the majority of the time we're solving problems with the flavor of being bullied and fear tactics that we're giving to ourselves, it means that we're living a life not better than our dreams. We're living a life in fear, in stress, without the energy and vibrancy and focus that it actually takes to grow, to succeed, to adapt, to pivot, and to create a life better than your dreams. So today I wanted to talk to you about what I believe to be the art of self-motivation and how to talk to yourself in a way that will not only increase your level of results and increase what I call your intentional quality output, but also result in you enjoying the journey along the way. It's really important to, first off, become aware of how you speak to yourself. So think about, the last time that you were trying to make something happen in your life or in your business and it didn't work, or you were trying to motivate yourself to take action. And maybe you kept slipping, and maybe you kept falling behind. How are you talking to yourself in those scenarios? Because one of the things that I see is that those people that bully themselves to be successful, that expect so much from themselves that they find it hard to ever be satisfied, is that they tend to worry about their problems rather than get on with solving their problems. Now, worrying is very different than caring. If we worry about our problems, we're using up a ton of mental energy that's not going into solving the problem. Instead, it's creating a stressful state, and it's actually denying us of the fuel and the creativity to come up with the solution to solve the problem. I've come to realize that problems are in fact the golden nuggets of life, because I don't know when mankind started to feel that if they had problems that their life was in some way less than, because it's the problems in our life that have solutions attached to them if we care enough to try and solve those problems. Everything on this planet, every living organism on this planet has grown, adapted, and succeeded through solving problems. You don't see a tree worrying about whether it can grow tall enough. You don't see, a wild animal worrying about whether its fur is prettier than the other wild animal's fur. They know their job instinctively to grow, to adapt, to survive, and do the best they can while they're on this planet. And it's the same for us. But unlike wild animals, unlike trees, we have so many more things that we can achieve. We can achieve something that no human beings ever achieved. That's why records are constantly broken, and breaking news of new achievements is always there, because us human beings, we're incredible creatures. We have the ability to adapt and thrive and create all sorts of things. We also have emotions, which can be a huge strength for us, but it can also be the thing that takes us down. Now, just deciding that you don't want to worry anymore isn't a flick of a switch. It's definitely a daily dial that we turn. But if you can imagine your life right now, and imagine that all of the problems, all of the things that haven't happened yet exist. But instead of worrying about them, you cared enough to solve the problem, which is speaking to yourself the way that inspiring teacher would speak to you. Recognizing that you've got the potential to do anything you want, that you are capable of solving any problem that is required to be solved for you to progress. And that rather than worrying about the problem and sitting there in stress, can you instead care enough about the solution to solve the problem, to try and solve the problem, and to give yourself a break if you fail a few times along the way? Because each time you fail, you figured something out. You figured out what doesn't work. When we think about some of the real visionaries that are in our world today and how they are capable of managing so much pressure, it's because they don't worry about their problems. They care enough to find the solution. I remember reading an article about Elon Musk with his big SpaceX project, and how every time one of his rockets would go up and explode and everyone's really worried and stressed, his initial reactions would be, well, at least that thing worked, and at least now I know what didn't work, and maybe next time it'll work. So instead of worrying about what's not working, he's looking at what did work and what he can learn to move forward. It's a really great perspective on problems, because problems aren't a bad thing. It doesn't make them easy. I'm not saying that, the problems that we have should be stress-free and easy, but we do have a choice. We do have a control over our emotions. We do have the opportunity to train ourselves not to spend too much time in worry, but instead to care enough to solve the problem. So how do we move forward from this? Well, I think it's really important to remember and become really aware, first off, how you've been talking to yourself. Because you talk to yourself more than anyone you'll ever talk to for the rest of your life. And you're listening. Not only to the words you say out loud, but to every thought you have about yourself and about your potential for the future, you're listening. And your subconscious is recording everything. And the next time that you have a problem and you're under pressure, and maybe your mental and emotional bandwidth is lower than normal, and you ask yourself a question like, can I do this? Is this possible for me? Your subconscious is going to give you the answer from the library of responses and language that you've been using to give you an answer back. So let's start recording language that is inspiring us to move forward, that's encouraging us to move forward, that's recognizing that every time we take action, we either win or we learn. Either the problem gets solved or we learn something about what we tried that didn't work, and we get to solve that problem. Imagine if your days were spent caring enough to progress rather than spent worrying about what's just happened or what might happen. It's one of the major diseases of the modern era is self-pressure. And maybe it's because we're looking on social media and we're comparing ourselves to everyone that makes it look so easy. Or everyone's lives looking like they're perfect and happy and sunny and everyone's successful. And of course, we have a problem and we feel like there's something wrong. And maybe we're looking at all the things that we want to achieve in our life. And instead of being grateful for what we've got and using that gratitude to build and succeed even more, we're looking at what we want and making our current circumstances wrong. And if we're making our current circumstances wrong, how can we expect to get enough energy and gratitude to fuel the journey forward? Because remember, the thing that actually fuels your journey, it's not that cup of coffee, right? It's not whether you just happen to wake up on the right side of the bed that day. The thing that fuels your ability to move through the struggle with gratitude, caring enough to solve the problem, the thing that fuels that ultimately is your purpose. It's the reason why you're even putting the effort in the first place. So ask yourself, why do you desire what you desire? What are you working towards and why? Really ask yourself that question. I think a lot of people move forward in life kind of unconsciously. They assume they want millions of dollars. They assume they want, this big business. They assume a lot. And none of those things are wrong. But really ask yourself why. Because it's not the money. It's not the size of a company. There's something that you would love to experience in your life. Maybe it's more freedom. Maybe it's stability for your family and yourself. Maybe it's having impact on a certain industry in the world. Maybe it's the idea that when you leave this earth, you've made an impact. You've left something behind that has left where you've grown up, where you've lived better than it was before you were there. Whatever it may be, there's no wrong answer, because if you truly desire it and you know why you desire it, that's your purpose. And when you really understand what your purpose is, it can fuel every decision you make every single day, from when you decide to get up, from why you decide not to open your inbox until you've spent some time, waking up, from what you decide to eat, when you decide to go on holiday, what people you decide to be around, what new challenges to take on. All of those decisions, when they're in alignment with your purpose, are going to make your journey so much more fulfilling. And when you're taking on problems, taking on challenges, and failing forward, when you're in the struggle and it's hard and it's stressful and it feels heavy, when you reconnect with why it's important to you, and you start to inspire yourself to keep going, and you start to use language that is letting you know that you believe in your ability to figure it out, even if you don't know why or how to make it happen yet, you believe in your ability to figure it out. After a period of time of that kind of language and that kind of purpose, filling up your subconscious library, the next time after all of that you ask yourself, can I do this? That library is going to be full of words and language that's ultimately going to say, yes, you can. I don't know how long it's going to take, but you can do it. You have what it takes. And we're not going to spend any more time worrying. Instead, we are going to care enough to solve all the wonderful gold nugget problems out there that on the other side of them have solutions that allow us not only to create that life that we've desired, but discover even more opportunities that maybe previously we were too blind and unconscious to even notice. Because it's when your eyes are open, present, consistent, in gratitude, inspiring yourself to take action, that you notice other opportunities. They're the people that maybe the rest of the world call lucky or fortunate or in the right place at the right time. These people aren't lucky. They're people whose eyes are open, who aren't dwelling and worrying about the things that aren't going well in their life, but are in fact wide open, looking around, caring enough about themselves and their purpose to solve the problem. Self-motivation isn't a strategy that you can write down and learn in a book. Self-motivation is you being the mentor, the coach for yourself. You recognizing that you're going to be with yourself for the rest of your life, and that how you speak to yourself, how you overcome challenge, how you move through struggle is recorded and will determine your results. So if I could ask one thing from everyone that's listening to this today, is to start with writing down and becoming very aware of the language that you're using and the thoughts that you're using. Gradually start to comprehend those thoughts that are regularly popping up on your mental dashboard that you've decided you don't want anymore. And then write down what thoughts you would like to have on your mental dashboard more often. Write them down, get it very, very clear. And initially, this process is going to be reinstalling mental software. And every now and then, those old phrases, those old disempowering beliefs, those old disempowering language phrases are going to be popping back in. And when they do, be prepared for them. So the next thing that would be great for you to do is to write down a trigger. Write down something that you know you will do if one of those disempowering thoughts pops back into your mind again. How are you going to snap yourself out of that thought and reintroduce a thought that is actually working for you? What can you do to be the voice of the inspiring teacher in your mind more often than the teacher that is bullying you to success? If you master this, I promise you one thing. No matter what is happening in your life, you will spend more time caring about solving problems and moving forward and progressing than being in a state of stress and anxiety and procrastination and worry. Then, not only will you move forward, but you'll make better choices. No matter what strategies or external influences are in your life, if you master this, you will progress faster. And more importantly, you'll enjoy life more. Because every single day is a gift. And for those of you that are working on business ideas or trying to progress yourself or trying to create something bigger and better for yourself, you're in a privileged situation because there are plenty of people in the world that don't even get the opportunity to listen to a podcast, to have the idea that they could even create something more for themselves. So recognize that privilege. Be grateful for it every day. And know that if you've even begun a journey of development, of progression, that you obviously do believe there's something within you that is greater. That there's something within you that can create a life and a business or a situation that is so wonderful. Stick with that thought, inspire yourself to be successful, and care enough to solve all of those problems that have wonderful solutions on the other end of them. This has been James Williams, your certified high performance coach. It's been a pleasure to get to speak to you all today. Have an amazing day. You know where we are. Take care. Bye-bye.
I hope you loved today's episode. One of the incredible things about working with my husband is that we get to support clients together. He is one of our leading coaches in our mastermind. It's our top level program that's perfect for you if you're looking to scale your online business. Go to iheartmylife.com/mastermind to learn more. Talk to you next time. We hope you loved this episode. Thank you so much for being an avid listener of the I Heart My Life show. Take a second and leave a review. It would mean so much to us, and we read all of them. And for further inspiration and life and business tips about creating a life that you love and achieving massive success, definitely follow us at iHeartMyLife on Instagram and at iHeartMyLife Now on Facebook. See you next time.